Hi yoga friends, welcome back to Harmony Yoga. Take a comfortable seat. Inner spiral your thighs by pushing down into the inner thigh and spreading the outer thigh. It'll help rotate you in a way that makes you sit up a little bit taller. Make sure you're sitting up on a blanket or a block, give you a little bit of height here. And then close your eyes and come into this space with me. Now, I don't know about you, but I can kind of get caught in the shadows. Getting kind of sucked into the dark side of this waiting, this uncertainty. Helen Keller once said, "Keep your face to the sunshine and you cannot see the shadows." Today I want to talk to you a little bit about one of the yoga messages of moderation. Now this is one of the yamas and niyamas of one of the 8 limbs of yoga. We don't need to get into that specifically, but just this idea of moderation. How is it that yoga can help us with moderation in our life? And it's been said here that this brahmacharya, or walking or having an ethical conduct like God, relating to another with unconditional love and integrity without selfishness or manipulation, that's a pretty loaded statement there. But this moderation, literally translated, it means to remain connected to source, or dedication to the divinity of life. In this sense, moderation is not about any inherent value in denying yourself pleasure. It's really about not squandering your energy on things that distract you from your higher purpose. So, to practice this moderation, it can be more helpful to think about the intention to stay connected to source than it is to focus solely on restricting your behavior. So if you can find your connection to source, your craving for lesser distractions and addictions will naturally become less compelling. So I notice that when I stay connected to my higher purpose, and in my case, my devotion to Jesus, my love of God, and my understanding of the benevolent nature of my life, the dark shadows start to dissipate. How about you? What is it that brings you to your higher sense, your higher self, your higher purpose? What that is for you, I just invite you to bring that in today, and maybe collectively we can call that grace. So taking this comfortable seat, taking your time to sit properly, and closing the curtains of your eyes if you haven't already. Slip into the flow of your breath. And open to that grace. Notice how one simple deep breath can start to shift your perspective. Like the wind, you don't see this grace, but you can feel its effect. Tap into that grace and allow it to move around you like the wind. And then bring your hands to in front of you at the center of your heart. To the light inside, we bow, asking for this grace upon us today, connecting with the source of our strength and light, opening our hearts more fully. And then open your eyes and sit tall. Feel free to keep your eyes closed, but just notice the sensation of your breath. Feeling the air moving in and out of your body. Notice how the chest and abdomen expand and contract slightly with the in and the out breath. One conscious breath is enough to make some space. Or perhaps before there was this uninterrupted succession of one thought after another. And sometimes those thoughts are not necessarily helpful. Sometimes those thoughts bring us to a darker side of uncertainty and fear. So turning again to the breath and allowing that grace to enter in with the inhale. Feel the space between the breaths before you exhale. Going back and forth here now. One conscious breath taken many times a day is an excellent way of bringing space into your life. So take one more conscious breath in. Allow that to fill yourself up with light, goodness, levity, brightness. Letting that breath fully leave, taking with it any unwanted energy. Notice the breathing isn't something you do, it's something you witness as it happens. The breathing happens by itself. The intelligence within the body is doing it. All you have to do is watch it happen. There is no strain or effort involved. Notice the brief sensation of the breath, particularly the still point at the end of the out breath before you start breathing again. Good, and come with me onto all fours on your mat when you're ready. Taking your time, allowing this practice to nurture you in a way that you're needing today. In your time, spread your fingers wide, place your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. Looking forward onto the mat, just a couple inches ahead of you. Lift your tailbone and scoop your tailbone without moving anything else in the body. Inhaling and exhaling now. So we're going to inhale, lift the tail, and exhale, scoop the tail. One more time. Good, and now we're going to inhale and drop the ribs, and exhale, lift the ribs. So it's a very subtle movement, moving the ribs, dropping the ribs toward the floor. So we're keeping the pelvis steady. One more time, dropping the heart toward the floor, and then lifting the heart. Good, and then we're going to keep the ribs stable. Just push the hands away from you, elongating the arms and reaching out of the shoulder socket. And then as we exhale, we're going to drop the heart toward the floor, integrating the arms into the shoulder sockets. We'll do that one more time. Perhaps you can see this as I demonstrate here. Pushing the arms away, the arms are completely straight, and then the arms go into the shoulder socket. And then inhale, lift the head. And exhale, drop the head. The rest of the body is staying stable. Just exploring here, inhaling. So there's this notion that we can compensate through old habits, old movement patterns, and then we start to get stuck, and then other parts of our bodies start to compensate. So now we're going to put all of that together by lifting the tail, releasing the spine, lifting the head, and integrating the arms into the shoulder socket. And then go the other way. Exhaling now, scooping the tail, lifting the ribs, pushing the hands away from you and dropping the head. Let's go one more time here. Inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Good, now come back to a flat back. Simply reach the toes out toward the left and turn over your left shoulder, breathing into the right side. Again, taking that conscious breath. Go ahead and come back to center and over to the other side. Toes go to the right, turn over and look to the right shoulder, stretching through the left side. Back to center. So one more thing we'll do for the spine is reach the right hand over to the left side, come onto the right side of the head, even onto the left fingertips, allowing that spine to turn. I heard somebody say today we're being asked to turn in all kinds of ways. Let's let the body help us do that. Every day there's new messages about what we should and shouldn't be doing. Timeline, we don't know. We're going to switch to the other side here. So we make our bodies flexible. The idea would be that our mind and our spirit also becomes a little more flexible with the body. Good, and coming back to all fours. Stretch the left leg back, Draw the belly button up toward the spine. Right toes are curled under. Push down through the left hand and reach the right arm forward. Reach that down and go to the other side. I'm going to move back here just a little bit so I'm in the camera. Good. Push yourself away from the floor. Reaching out both directions. Let's do one more time each side. And let's match it with the breath. So inhale, exhale. We'll go back and forth here. Inhaling, stretching. And one more time here. Good. Bring your knees wide. Toes flatten out. Bring the big toes together and sit your hips back. You're going to listen to the knees here. If it doesn't feel so good for you to come all the way back, just keep your hips lifted, come down onto your forearms. Or you can sit your hips back. You can reach your arms out in front of you. Coming up onto your fingertips. Flattening your hands, curling your toes under and lift up to down dog. Bending one leg and straightening the other. Switch back and forth here. And then reach the left leg or the right leg up toward the sky. Push your hands into the earth and hug your arms together. Reach that leg high and then let it come down. And then go to the other side. Reach the left leg long, hugging the arms together, exploring here. Let's go one more time each side. So we're lifting that leg up as high as you can. Now we'll go to the left side. Good. Slowly walk your feet forward to your forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up. And exhale, release down. Using your block if you need to, or bending your knees. And bring your hands to your hips, elbows to the sky. Inhale and rise. So look down at your feet, make them hip-width apart. Lift and separate the toes, the feet become parallel. And then notice where your weight is distributed. Maybe move yourself around in a circle and feel all the different places of your feet that take on that weight, and then come back to that place of the center and see if you can rotate your inner edge of your foot down and then the outer edge of your foot. Go back and forth until you can find a happy medium. And do the same thing forward and back, and then bend the knees. Push down through the feet, elongate the side body, rotate palms forward. Feel free to close your eyes here and feel the body, feeling the body from the inside out. As you take a breath in, remember that grace that is encircling us today. Draw that grace in with the inhale, lifting and opening the heart. Good. Exhaling fully. This time when we inhale, we're going to reach our arms up to the sky. Feel free to open your eyes. And exhale, reach forward, coming down to your forward fold. Using your block if you need to. Inhale, lift head and heart forward. And exhale, release down. Inhale the right leg back to deep lunge. And either walk your hands up your left knee or reach your arms up to the sky. If your hands are on your knee, move your hips out to the left. Take the left hip back and the right hip forward. And then maybe reach the right arm up and the left, one or the other. You can decide here. Feel free to drop that back heel down at a 45-degree angle, or keep the ball of your back foot on the floor by lifting the heel. Either way there. And we're going to bring our hands down and step back to downward facing dog. So still be mindful of our spread fingers. Notice where the weight is in your hands. If it feels like it's a lot into the heel of your palm, press more into your fingertips. Draw the armpits up, the outer armpits lift up and the shoulder blades draw toward the spine. Go up onto your tippy toes and then drag the heels down and back. Inhale, lift the right leg or simply step it forward. We're going to bring the knees up onto the right knee. Move the hips out to the right. Take the right hip back and the left hip forward by scooping the tailbone and drawing the ribs back, and then inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. Or you can keep the right hand on the right leg for support. Staying with the breath here, drawing into the midline, inhaling, opening the heart, lifting up toward the sky. Exhaling fully, bringing the hands down and stepping forward, forward fold. Hands to the hips, elbows to the sky, inhale and rise. Now, if you're new to yoga, please know all of these postures can be modified. You can always reach out to me, comment below, and I can get back to you. But if you struggle to be able to reach the floor, you're better off to keep your hands on your hips. You can even use a chair for support, and eventually you'll get to the point where you start to make a little bit of progress, but we don't worry about that. Using a chair, there's no shame in that at all. So for now, you can even use a chair for support and balance. Standing on your left leg, pick up your right, either to curl the toes under on the floor, bring that foot up to the shin, or even up to your thigh. Move the thighs back, scoop the tailbone, bring the hands to the heart. Now press the leg and the foot together, press your hands together, lift up through the crown of the head. You can also reach and lift your heart, lift your gaze, lift your arms. Keep challenging yourself by looking upward. Remember what Helen Keller says, the more you're lifting up toward the light, the less you're focused on the darkness, or the shadow, she says. Good, release yourself out of that side. Standing on the right foot, pick up the left. Again, any of the three settings here, just not on the knee. Moving the inner thighs back, scoop the tailbone down that standing leg, lifting and opening the heart, taking the ribs back, hands to the heart, or lifting up. In either case, you're still hugging into that midline, so your foot and your leg together are a great way to remember to hug in and then lift up. That'll actually help you stay balanced if you lift and focus upward. Good, and coming out of that posture when you're ready. Coming back to the front of your mat here. Now you are going to want your block handy. So take your block and place it in front of you for now. We're going to go around to another sun salutation. So inhale, lift the arms and release down to the forward fold. Using your block, inhale, lift forward, and exhale, release down. Again, if you don't have a yoga block, you can just use a stack of books or any prop that you might have that would serve the purpose. And one more time, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower. Step the left leg back this time and bring the block to the outside of your right foot and bend into that right leg. Bring your left hand to your left hip and begin to turn over to the left. Inhale and lift your left arm up to the sky as you straighten your right leg into triangle posture. So here both legs are straight, the feet are perpendicular. Move the inner thighs back and then scoop the tailbone without bringing the thighs forward again. So you want to keep those thighs back. Scoop the tailbone, send that energy down the legs. So strong support here. The heart is lifted and open. And then we're going to go into a little challenge here. So bring the left hand to the left hip, bend into the right knee, hop the left foot in just a little bit. And I'm going to back up here so I don't go off the camera. You're going to reach out with that block as high or as far as you can on the little toe side, shifting your weight onto the right foot and the right hand. You're going to pick that left foot off the floor or touch the foot down if you're unsure of yourself, or challenge yourself and lift. The other challenge would be to lift your left arm. This is called half moon. Now I'm going to draw my ribs back and kick that back foot forward just a little bit to give some strength and stability there. And then I can challenge myself by looking up toward the sky. And check up on that hand and make sure the hand's not reaching behind you. It's just straight up toward the sky. And then we're going to bend the front knee, drop the back foot down, cartwheel our hands into warrior two. So bending into the right knee, thighs back, scoop the tailbone. Long, slow exhale. Reverse the arms. Good. Bring the hands down to the mat, top of a push-up position. Dropping the knees or keeping the legs straight. Bend the elbows back. Slowly lower down. Rotate the shoulders up and away from the floor. Cobra. And release. Push back to child's pose. Up to down dog. And then bring the right or the left foot forward. Grab your block. Swivel the back heel down. Bending into that left leg. Bring the right arm up to the sky as you straighten that left leg. So pushing down through the left hand and the left foot. Taking a breath here, drawing the shoulder blades together on the back, moving the thighs back, scoop the tailbone, and bringing the top hand to the hip, bend into the front knee, hop the back foot in. Once again, I'll move back a little bit here on the mat. You're going to reach out with your left hand and shift your weight onto your left hand and your left foot. Pick the right foot up or just leave the toe of the right foot on the floor. Draw the belly button back and kick that foot forward just a little bit, turning and looking up towards your top hand. And when you're ready, bend the front knee, step back, bending into the left knee, broaden your feet apart a little bit here and come into warrior two. Looking out over the left hand, move your thighs back again, scoop the tailbone, and reverse the arms. Right hand down the right leg, left arm up. And release your hands back down to the mat. Step forward, forward fold. And then bending the knees, reach your hands forward between the thighs. Bringing the hands together at the heart and lowering yourself down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Push your fingertips into the floor behind you. Lift the spine, open the heart. Reach around and grab the ankles or the big toes if you prefer that version. Lifting and opening. Finding your way down onto your back. Staying in the same position with the soles of your feet together. Just rotating back. Press the elbows down. Create that puffy chest and the curve in the back. Palms up toward the sky. We're going to stay here for just another couple breaths. I've got one more posture here for you today. Take a little inventory of the body. Breathing into the belly. Slowly closing the knees together and stepping your feet out, hips width apart. Pressing your hands down now. Make sure you haven't lost that puffy chest, curvy back. And then go ahead and lift your hips up into that bridge posture. Staying here or interlacing your hands underneath you. Scoop the tailbone towards your knees. What happens if you try to push your feet away from you? release your hips down. Hug your knees into your chest and move side to side. And let's do that one more time. Feet down, press your elbows down, lift the hips, and again, you can interlace your hands the opposite way. That's a nice little shoulder and chest opener. Scoop the tailbone and push the feet away from you. Softening with the breath. Release the hips. Straighten your legs out into your Shavasana position. Letting yourself release to the earth. Press and walk your shoulders underneath you. Let your feet naturally release and relax. Palms face up. So the bones are heavy. The whole back side is connected to the earth. The skin is light. The heart is open. Feel the subtle flow of the air in and out of the body, as well as the rise and fall of the chest and the abdomen. This is you becoming aware of your inner body. Your attention may shift from the breath to that felt aliveness within you, diffused throughout the body. We can become so distracted by our thoughts, so identified with the voices in our heads, that we can no longer feel the aliveness within us. Just come back to that conscious breath, paying attention to the breath. And now see if you can detect a subtle sense of aliveness that pervades your whole inner body. Can you feel your body from within? Sense briefly specific parts of your body. Feel your hands. Feel your arms. Feel your feet and legs. Can you feel your abdomen, your chest, your neck, and your head? And what about your lips? Is there life in them? Become aware of your body as a whole. Begin to make subtle movements with your hands and your feet, bending your knees, hugging them into your chest, rolling onto your right side, still feeling that sense of inner awareness. We move slowly and subtly to keep that awareness so we don't get caught thinking of our to-do list or those nagging thoughts of despair. We keep ourselves grounded in our faith and in the grace that surrounds us and uplifts us. We don't let that go too quickly, although we know dinner is waiting or all the to-do lists or whatever, but for just these next couple moments, can you stay focused on that inner awareness and the grace that surrounds you. Moving yourself up to a seated position if you're not there already. Taking another conscious breath in. And bringing the hands to the heart and exhaling fully in gratitude for this
this opportunity